I am Mrs. Ruby Merlot. As a cultural, colorful pouring icon, I dress for every pour as one would naturally dress for dinner. I channel my muse with a quick vocal exercise, then ask my canvas what it wants to be. And now that you know my story, shall we pour? Welcome, gracious viewers. I begin each pour with a vocal exercise, flowers in a vase. And in the midst of my frenzy to get pouring, I always ask my canvas what it wants to be. My lovely heirloom 5-finger vase has always been a favorite for flower arrangements. But one day I saw it on the shelf and my heart skipped a beat. I could pour with that. Though all 5 fingers connect to a common well, I carefully squirted primary colors and white in varying combinations into each of the fingers to help keep the colors separate, after starting with a puddle of white in the base. I used the squirt bottles the cook washes and saves for me from the condiments, but I deliberately ordered Mr. Merlot to cut them from this video as they are so unsuitable for public display. One must always maintain the veneer of graceful living, mustn't one? Now the paint is down, it looks rather like a Jackson Pollock, don't you think? And that reminds me of a quote of his. Every good painter paints what he is. Or she, I might add. As a woman of culture and refinement, and modesty as well, I like to think of myself as a pretty good painter. Now, considering Pollock's quote, I just need to figure out what about this painting is what I am. Ugh. Look at that light reflected in the paint. As this is Mr. Merlot's first attempt at video, his artistic sense and technical know-how have not been developed, but the reflection reveals an exact copy of a fixture that hangs in Downton Abbey. You may have seen it. So gratifying. I spread more paint on some of the corners to encourage the colors to tilt off. And here are the close-ups. Look at the threads of color running through it all. A happy result of the final smidgens of paint spilling from the vase's thin fingers. I'm sure you would agree this painting truly rivals the Pollock Mitzi Cranmore has hanging in her foyer. As a tireless patron of the arts, perhaps she'd like to add this one to her collection. Are you listening, Mitzi? Thank you for joining me. And as unsavory a task as this is, I must beseech you to like this video, if you do, and to subscribe to my channel.